All right, viewers, we'll now jump into the second segment of our show and we'll welcome another guest to answer all your questions from here. We have Nilesh Jain, Head of Vice President of Technicals and Derivatives Research at Centrum Broking, now joining in. Nilesh, welcome. Good to have you with us. Markets definitely turning worse by the day and giving a lot of pain to our viewers. Before I take your view on the markets, there are already so many questions that we have to take. You can clearly understand the kind of nervousness that's amidst a lot of our viewers. So we'll start taking those questions, and in between, I'll come to you for your market outlook as well. Some questions on our WhatsApp that are coming in. There is this question from Mohit from Ludhiana. He says, can I buy Tata Motors at this level for the next 3 years? Tata Motors, we all know how the story has been only, perhaps weakening over the last 5 months odd, and the stock has not only given up crucial levels like 800 and 700, it's now inching closer to 600 levels now. How much more downside from here? Do you think this is an attractive level? Its stock has already given up what, 42% in the last 6 months of its value. Do you think it's a good time to take a fresh entry?
Very good afternoon, Sakshi. Absolutely. See, first of all, if you see on the monthly time frame chart, the stock has continued its downtrend for the 8th consecutive month now. This is the 8 months of fall so far, and it has corrected almost 50% from the highs after making highs near about 1200. It's currently somewhere around 618. So clearly, a 50% wealth erosion can be seen in this particular counter, and still there is some more room left on the lower side. The stock has a major support at somewhere around 500 to 520. So another 100-point fall that cannot be ruled out. But given the kind of 3 years plus time horizon, I think these are the good levels to accumulate this particular counter. But strategy should be to buy in a staggered manner, because we can expect further downtick to continue towards the levels of 550 to 500 as well. So ideally, you should buy in multiple tranches, or a SIP can be a better option to invest in this particular counter. And stop loss, if somebody is buying from a positional perspective as well, then stop loss comes around 430, and buy up to the levels of 520. So good levels from a positional perspective, but not advisable to buy purely from a trading point of view, since the short-term trend still looks weak.
Okay, fair point. Let's take the next question. This one is from Mr. Dasaradhi from Vijayawada. It says that I'm having two shares. One is Heritage Foods, about 400 shares at the rate of 235, and Bank of Maharashtra shares at the rate of 58. Can I add more, and what could be the target price for both of these stocks over the next 1 year? Now, Heritage Foods, we know it was like a momentum play during the time when this entire Lok Sabha elections came in. Everybody had a FOMO, everybody wanted to jump onto it. The stock gave like 30, 40, 50% kind of returns in just a very short term. But after that, of course, there has been a lot of consolidation. Although the good point is that he bought it at 235, so he's still in good profits here, despite the overall consolidation in the markets. The second one he has is Bank of Maharashtra at 58. How would you assess both these stocks for next 1 year perspective?
See, first of all, Heritage Food, as you have rightly pointed out, there was a spurt, and we have seen that momentum has fizzled out. Now the stock has continued its downtick after making highs near about 700. So close to 50% correction has already been witnessed in this particular counter. But since he has already bought, he's still in the money. So I would advise to keep a trailing stop loss at 345. If it falls below 345, then exit your long position. But keep a trailing stop loss at 345. There could be possibility of a pullback. If pullback comes and the stock moves in the zone of 380 to 400, that can be another good exit opportunity. So sell on rise should be the strategy, since the short-term structure still looks weak. And from a 1 year time frame as well, I would advise to keep a trailing stop loss at 345. Maharashtra Bank, a similar downtick, and the trend looks weak in this particular counter as well. The strategy would be similar, to keep a trailing stop loss, a strict stop loss in this particular counter that comes around 42 rupees as of now. So 42 with a stop loss below 42, one can hold this particular counter with an expectation of a pullback. If at all we see any pullback towards the levels of 48 to 50, I would advise to review at 48 to 50 levels once again, because the major undertone still looks weak. We don't know whether this pullback is sustainable or not. But as of now, the trend is clearly on the downside, so pullback should be used as an exit opportunity.
Fair point. I hope this has helped you understand your strategy on both the stocks. Let's take another one. This is from Gul, and she says, I need a technical view for averaging and adding certain stocks that I have in my portfolio. First one is REC. Now, Gul bought this at 444, and the other one is LIC. She purchased this one at 865. Both these stocks she wants to average.
First of all, REC Limited, this particular stock, it is trading well below all short-term and long-term moving averages, and the kind of correction that we have seen in mid-cap and small-cap stocks. So clearly, the trend looks weak. But since already bought it at higher level, so if somebody is looking to average the existing position, then the good level would be somewhere around 350 to 360. So there's a good zone where one can average out the position, or one can even buy a fresh long as well with a stop loss below 310. Positionally, if at all we see any sustainability in the market, then these are the stocks where we may see an outperformance to continue. So good quality stocks, but purely from a trading point of view, the structure looks weak. Positionally, from next 6 to 8 months or maybe 1 year time frame, these are good levels to average the position, and keep a stop loss somewhere around 320, buy in the zone of 350 to 360. Another stock, LIC, where a similar kind of formation can be seen. The stock is constantly forming a lower top and lower top formation. So with a time horizon of 1 year plus, these stocks can be average out at in the zone of 700 to 680. That's a good entry point for this particular counter. Since the stock has a very strong support at 650, that should be the stop loss for the long position.
Okay, fair point. I hope Guldes has answered your question about the stocks that you've asked. Let's take the next one. This is from Archana from Bangalore. She says, hi Sakshi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you as well, Archana. Hope you're doing well. Now she says, I've started my investment journey for my son's higher education, which I will need after 6 years. Okay, Archana, got that. Now she says her entire portfolio is currently at a 10% loss. So what should be her strategy in the weak market? Well, Archana, it would have helped if you would have given us some sense of the stocks that you have in your portfolio, to probably just let you know if you are actually staying on course with good fundamental stocks, and technically also they are strong. See, since you have a good horizon of 6 years, things will turn better is what our hope is, and 6 years from now, you definitely will not see Nifty at 22,000. You will see the Nifty at much higher levels. So your 10% loss is also not too massive. It will improve and you will tend to make more profits. We'll ask Nilesh to help you out. Nilesh, the good part is that, you know, people are actually looking at stock markets as a way of creating wealth to complete some of their life goals, like their children's education. And which is a fair point. Although the time horizon is 6 years, it's not extremely long, but it's not very short as well. 5 to 6 years is medium term time frame, and one really can actually build some kind of a wealth in that perspective. How would you guide an average investor if somebody has a 5-6 year horizon to be in the stock markets on the better side if one needs money after 6 years?
Sakshi, as you have rightly pointed out, if we would have got the shares, then that would have been better. We could have advised in a better way. But anyways, what I could hear is that the portfolio is down 10%
Yeah.
versus the Nifty index, which is down 15%. So comparatively, the investment seems to be in a good stocks. These are the opportunities if somebody is looking to make an investment for 3 year, 4 year, or maybe 6 year plus time frame. And these are the good opportunities. You won't get it again in next
Yeah.
1 year. So there is no doubt that we may see this consolidation, this correction may continue further from here. But if somebody is making a portfolio, then one should not look at the prices of now. These are the good entry point. Buy in a staggered manner. Keep doing SIPs. And from here, if at all we see any further decline, focus in the quality stocks, and largely, since we have already seen a carnage in the broader market, the focus should be on the large cap where we see a margin of safety. So large cap Nifty 50 stocks could be a good idea where one can look to do an SIP or kind of investment for next 6 year plus. A few stocks that I would like to advise from my side. Reliance, one of the heavyweight, today we have seen a good decent correction of 3% plus. So that can be a good bet from a risk and reward perspective. Within NBFC space, Bajaj Finance, Shriram Finance, these are the good stocks. But ideally, you should do a SIP or buy in a staggered manner, because the stock has given a good run up in the short term time frame. Within banking space, you have HDFC Bank, State Bank of India. So these are the few names that just want to highlight, which has some quality, and from 6 year plus time frame, I think these are the good levels to enter.
Okay, fair point. Let's take a question with a caller who's with us. Kalpesh Patel is joining in from Mumbai. Hi Kalpesh, how are you?
मैं एकदम बढ़िया हूँ। आप कैसे हो? और आज सुबह मार्केट भी काफी अच्छा था। तो एक्चुअली इतने अच्छे मार्केट में ना मेरे फंड खत्म हो गया कि मैं क्या क्या शॉर्ट सेल करूँ। सब
देखिए,
इतना सारा, उसके बाद नीचे आ गया ना, मैं शॉर्ट सेल के लिए फंड ही खत्म हो गया और वो कितना क्या क्या बेचू, कंफ्यूज हो गया था।
बिल्कुल
तो मैंने
कल्पेश जी, यहाँ
हाँ
बताइए।
जी, आप बताइए।
मैं ये कह रही हूँ कि देखिए बाजार में बाकी सभी दर्शकों के लिए भी ये जानना जरूरी है कि आप बाजार को किस नज़र से देखते हैं। जहां हम लोग एक तरह सोच रहे हैं अरे बाजार में बहुत पेन है, इतना गिर रहा है, कल्पेश जी ने एकदम ब्राइट पर्सपेक्टिव दिखाया कि देखिए बाजार बहुत अच्छा है क्योंकि बाजार गिर रहा है, क्योंकि ये शॉर्ट सेल करके कमाने में बिलीव करते हैं। तो बाजार दोनों सेलर्स और बायर्स के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटीज देता है। और अभी फिलहाल कल्पेश जी कह रहे हैं कि मेरे पास अभी फंड्स कम हो गए हैं क्योंकि मैंने बहुत सारी चीजें ऑलरेडी शॉर्ट सेल करी। अब कहाँ पर शॉर्ट सेल करें ये जानना चाहते हैं। जी, आज का कोई सवाल है स्पेसिफिक स्टॉक पर?
डीमार्ट शॉर्ट सेल किया हुआ है एट 3,400, क्या ये 28 से 3,000 आ सकता है? और ये पीएसई जो मतलब गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर में, पीएसई सेक्टर में, और क्या क्या रियलिटी में, और किसमें और शॉर्ट सेल और बन सकता है इस लेवल पर भी?
ठीक है, डी मार्ट 3400 पर इन्होंने शॉर्ट किया हुआ है, क्या 3000 या 2800 तक के लेवल्स आ सकते हैं? और दूसरा, और कहां शॉर्ट सेल करा जा सकता है करंट लेवल्स पर, ये पूछना चाह रहे हैं आपसे नीलेश जी।
बिल्कुल, देखिए सबसे पहले तो जिस हिसाब से मार्केट ने वन साइड पिछले कुछ एक दिनों में करेक्शन दिखाया है, अब इन लेवलों पर एग्रेसिव शॉर्ट करना अवॉइड करना चाहिए, बिकॉज मार्केट्स काफी ओवरसोल्ड है। अगर आप आरएसआई देखें, निफ्टी का आरएसआई जो कि 20 के आसपास आ चुका है, तो क्लियरली यहाँ पे इंडिकेशन मिल रहे हैं कि कहीं ना कहीं एक पुल बैक मार्केट देता हुआ नजर आ सकता है, और इस पुल बैक में कोई ट्रैप ना हो जाए, इसीलिए एग्रेसिव शॉर्ट सेल अवॉइड करने की सलाह होगी। बट येस, इफ इट ऑल वी सी एनी गुड डिसेंट पुल बैक, अगर एक अच्छा खासा उछाल मार्केट में मिलता है, तो अच्छे लेवल पर आपको शॉर्ट करने की अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल सकती है। बट एज ऑफ नाउ वी आर एडवाइजिंग कॉशियस कॉशन, बिकॉज द मार्केट्स आर इनटू ओवरसोल्ड टेरिटरी, तो एक डेड कैट बाउंस आ सकता है। इसीलिए बेहतर होगा कि आप पुल बैक का इंतजार कीजिए, उसके बाद शॉर्ट की अपॉर्चुनिटी ढूंढिए। जहां तक डीमार्ट की बात है, तो डीमार्ट देखिए बिल्कुल यहाँ पर भी एक काफी अच्छा खासा करेक्शन हम देख चुके हैं। यहाँ पे आज का जो कैंडल है वो एक रिवर्सल कैंडल बना रहा है, 3340 का लो बना है। अगर 3340 के नीचे फिसलता है तो यहाँ पे नेक्स्ट टारगेट 3200 से लेके 3000 के बहुत जल्द हमें देखने को मिलेंगे। लेकिन 3340 के लेवल नहीं ब्रीच होते तो पॉसिबिलिटी है कि ये पुल बैक दे सकता है। तो यहाँ पे सबसे पहले आप एक स्टॉप लॉस लगाएं। फ्यूचर्स के अंदर स्टॉप लॉस की बात करें तो 3465 का स्टॉप लॉस लगा के आप अपनी शॉर्ट पोजीशन में बने रह सकते हैं। उसके ऊपर निकलता है तो यहाँ पे एक शॉर्ट कवरिंग हमें देखने को मिलेगी, और हो सकता है काउंटर यहाँ पे पुल बैक के चलते 3600 और 3700 तक का लेवल ऊपरी सिरों पर दिखा पाए। तो बेहतर होगा कि स्टॉप लॉस के साथ आप पोजीशन में ट्रेड करें। एग्रेसिव शॉर्ट इन लेवलों पर अवॉइड करने की सलाह होगी। बेहतर होगा कि पुल बैक का इंतजार करें।
चलिए ठीक है, उम्मीद करते हैं यहाँ पर आपको राय मिल चुकी है। लविशा जलंधर से लिखती हैं और पूछ रही हैं टीटीएमएल और एमएमटीसी ये खरीदा हुआ है, इनको भी ये एवरेज करना चाह रही हैं करंटली। टाटा टेली और एमएमटीसी दोनों को 78 पर टाटा टेली खरीदा हुआ है और फिलहाल 56 पर आ चुका है ये स्टॉक। एमएमटीसी इन्होंने खरीदा हुआ है 87 के लेवल्स पर और यहाँ पर भी एवरेज करना चाह रही हैं क्योंकि 48 के लेवल्स पर आ गया है। कोई भी रिवर्सल के साइंस नजर आ रहे हैं क्या करंट लेवल्स पर और अपनी पोजीशंस में ऐड किया जाए नीलेश?
वेल साक्षी, देखिए दोनों ही स्टॉक्स अगर हम स्ट्रक्चर वाइज बात करें तो काफी वीक स्ट्रक्चर है, और काफी बड़े विपसॉस मूवमेंट इन दोनों ही स्टॉक्स में हमें देखने को मिलते हैं। तो एवरेज उन स्टॉक्स में करना चाहिए जहां पे बिजनेस की विजिबिलिटी हो, जहां पे क्वार्टरली नंबर्स कहीं ना कहीं बेहतर आने के अनुमान हो, और टेक्निकली स्टॉक्स में अगर रिवर्सल देखने को मिल रहा हो। बट ये सारे साइंस इन दोनों ही स्टॉक्स में मिसिंग है। हो सकता है कि अगर ब्रॉडर मार्केट्स में पुल बैक आए तो ये स्टॉक थोड़ा सा स्ट्रॉन्ग पुल बैक दिखा सकते हैं। बट अदरवाइज मैं कहूंगा एवरेज फिलहाल ना करें, पुल बैक का इंतजार करें। पुल बैक में एग्जिट के मौके ढूंढे। जहां तक टीटीएमएल की बात है, यहाँ पे 54 के स्टॉप लॉस से आप एक बार के लिए बने रह सकते हैं, जो आज की दिन के लोएस्ट लेवल है। और पुल बैक अगर 60-65 के जोन में आता है तो वहां पे फिर से रिव्यू करें। एमएमटीसी पर भी सिमिलर अप्रोच रखने की सलाह होगी, क्योंकि काउंटर काफी लंबे समय से गिरावट का दौर दिखा रहा है। पिछले 6 महीने से यहाँ पे गिरावट हमें देखने को मिल रही है, तो हो सकता है एक डिसेंट पुल बैक यहाँ पे देखने को मिले। बट मैं यहाँ पे एवरेज करने की सलाह नहीं दूंगा, क्योंकि कन्विक्शन फिलहाल मिसिंग है। अगर ये काउंटर 58 के ऊपर निकलता है, 56 के ऊपर अगर ये निकलता है, तो ही यहाँ पे एवरेज के बारे में सोचा जा सकता है। बट फिलहाल के लिए अगर बने रहना चाहते हैं तो 44 रुपीज 50 पैसा, 44 रुपए 50 पैसे के साथ बने रह सकते हैं।
चलिए ठीक है, उम्मीद करते हैं यहाँ पर भी आपको राय मिल गई होगी। अगला सवाल हम ले लेते हैं, हमारे पास यूट्यूब के जरिए भी जो क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं उनके ऊपर। पीटर राज लिखते हैं, हाय आई एम पीटर फ्रॉम ट्रिची, आई बॉट रेन इंडस्ट्रीज एट 170 लेवल्स, कैन आई ऐड मोर नाउ? अगेन रेन इंडस्ट्रीज में एवरेज करना चाह रहे हैं, कुछ सलाह बनेगी यहाँ पर?
देखिए, यहाँ पे एक गिरावट के बाद एक अच्छी बात यह है कि स्टॉक अपने मल्टी मंथ सपोर्ट के आसपास आ चुका है, जो सपोर्ट है 110 के आसपास। अगर एवरेज करना चाहते हैं तो एक सबसे पहले 110 का इन्हें स्टॉप लॉस रखना होगा। ट्रेंड अभी भी वीक है, बट हो सकता है यहाँ पे एक पुल बैक इन्हें देखने को मिले। पुल बैक इस काउंटर को 130 135 तक ले जा सकता है। क्लियरली लोअर टॉप एंड लो बॉटम फॉर्मेशन विजिबल है। अगर ये स्टॉक 135 के ऊपर निकलता है तो ये नेगेटिव फॉर्मेशन यहाँ पे निगेट हो जाएगा, और
ठीक
उसके
है,
बाद हमें स्ट्रॉन्ग रिवर्सल देखने को मिलेगा। बट फिलहाल के लिए एवरेज करना चाहते हैं तो एक स्टिक स्टॉप लॉस के साथ 110 के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ पोजीशन को ऐड करके चल सकते हैं।
ओके, नेक्स्ट कोलकाता से मोमिता हमें लिखती हैं, आई साक्षी, गुड आफ्टरनून टू यू एज वेल मोमिता, होप यू आर डूइंग वेल। शी वांट्स टू नो ऑन अदानी पोर्ट्स एंड अदानी एंटरप्राइजेस, सो अदानी stocks on her focus. She says, is it the good time to average Adani ports, which I have at an average price of 1171, currently it's at 1058. Her Adani Enterprises average price is 2453, 2453, and currently the stock is down at 2100 odd levels. Her time frame is 1 year plus on this one. So what should she do?
Both the stocks technically are looking stable after a decent correction, because the good part after this correction is that the stock has reached to its multi-year support zone as far as the Adani Port is concerned. So Adani Port has a very strong support at 978. Roughly, we can say 975 should be the stop loss for the long position. And yes, with a time horizon of 8 months or 1 year plus, this particular counter can be bought and can be average out since already bought at high level. So stop loss should be placed at 975 in this particular counter. Similar is the approach should be Adani Enterprise, but conviction comparatively is more in Adani Port compared to Adani Enterprise. Adani Enterprise, if somebody wants to hold, then one should keep a stop loss at 1980, and one can wait for a pullback towards 2300 to 2400. But don't see any major V-shaped recovery in this particular counter, and do not have that kind of conviction where this stock will rebound and reach to the levels of 3000 plus. So better to average in Adani Port and Adani Enterprise. Purely from a pullback perspective, it can be bought.
Okay. We have a question coming in from Satyan. He says, I want to harvest my loss. So book my loss now and buy them later again on some of the stocks. Could you please suggest on these stocks, can I sell at the current price, and when should I take an entry? One is Reliance Industries and the other one is HAL. How would you really look at these two stocks? Do you think for loss harvesting somebody should go to sell these stocks right now and buy at a later stage?
See, first of all, you need to understand that when you are booking your losses, at the same point of time, you have to buy again on the very next day, right? First thing, if you just look at the trend, Reliance today has fallen by almost 3%, and there could be possibility of a dead cat bounce. So better to wait for a pullback towards 1200 to 1220. During this pullback, you can probably exit your position and buy on the very next day. Do not try to time the market. Do not try to find the exact bottom in these particular counters. Markets are extremely volatile, and we are likely to witness a whipsaw moment as well. HL today, in fact, surprisingly, we have seen a very strong rebound of 2% plus. So again, a similar approach should be adopted here. Wait for a pullback towards 3400 to 3500. On a very good day, you should exit your long position, and on a very bad day, you can again reinvest the same position and recreate your same position. So better to wait for a pullback. As of now, this is not a right time to book your losses.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also helped you out. Some questions coming in on our YouTube as well. Samvit Nageshwar says, good afternoon to everyone. I want to know whether I can take a fresh entry in Angel One and in DCX Systems. I have a long-term time frame. Angel One, again, a good stock which has actually performed well in the recent past in the capital market story from the brokerage houses spaces. And the other one is DCX Systems, which again has had a good past, but of course, what we are seeing is that it's also coming down under pressure. Any of these stocks, Nilesh, that you believe could be looked at to take a fresh entry?
Right. So first of all, avoid DCX India. This particular counter is not looking attractive at all, given the kind of structure breakdown we can see. So either wait for sustainability of this particular pullback towards 240. If at all it closes above 240, then probably you can review and buy. But as of now, it's an avoid because the structure is not looking attractive at all. Angel One, see, comparatively, this particular counter, as you have rightly pointed out, has a very strong fundamental and good positional story as well. So with a time horizon of 6 to 8 months or maybe 1 year plus time frame, this particular counter can be bought in a staggered manner at
Okay.
current level and on decline can be added. The stop loss is coming somewhere around 1750. So that should be the stop loss for the long position and buy and decline should be the approach.
Okay, I hope this has also gotten you an understanding of how should you be looking at it. Last question that we'll take from our viewers today. Satya CK writes in, hi Sakshi, good afternoon. I want to know any support levels that the expert can suggest to me on Aarti Industries and on GNFC. So mostly fertilizers, chemicals stocks in his portfolio. Aarti Industries and GNFC, where are the supports placed?
See, both the stocks have underperformed a lot,
Yeah.
specifically Aarti Industries. Within the chemical basket, this particular stock has been one of the underperformer. As far as support is concerned, the next major support for this particular counter comes around 320. So if somebody is already holding the long position, ideally I would advise to exit on pullbacks because the structure is not looking attractive at all. If at all we see any pullback towards 430 to 450, that could be a good exit point. Or maybe one can review at those levels. But as of now, if somebody wants to stay put, then keep a stop loss at 325. Another stock, GNFC, a similar structural breakdown can be seen in this particular counter as well. But good part is that it is trading almost near to its support zone of 445. So 445 should be the stop loss for the long position, and there could be possibility of a strong rebound because the stock has witnessed a sharp correction in last three sessions. So some pullback towards 500 to 550 can be seen, but keep a strict stop loss in this kind of market. These are the stocks which are underperforming.
Okay. And lastly, Nilesh, as I said that, I'll take your market view right in the end. We have flattened out now. We have recovered from the day's low as well. But I really want to understand in terms of the sentiment that you're looking at. By when do you think the markets will stabilize again?
Well, Sakshi, it's very difficult to time the market as I've mentioned because the markets are constantly, we are witnessing a continuation of a downtake. This is the third consecutive week of fall that we have seen. This, in fact, this is the fourth week which has begun. So structure-wise, the Nifty is still looking weak, although we could see some pullback towards 22,600, 22,800. That cannot be ruled out. The RSI is at almost 20 levels, which is indicating that markets are extremely oversold. So yes, the good level to witness a pullback is 22,000. If today as well, if you see Nifty has made a low of almost 22,000, and from those levels we have seen a recovery of more than 100 points. So these are the levels where ideally we should see a dead cat bounce or a pullback, you can say, because 20,000 is a very strong support, psychological support as well. And going forward, we are expecting a break below the same. And on the lower side, 21,600, 21,500 kind of levels can be seen. So markets are, as of now, in the downtrend. In between, we may see a pullback. That pullbacks are unlikely to be sustainable. The focus should be on the stock-specific move. In spite of such a weak market, if you see today, counters like Kotak Bank, Cummins India, Bajaj Finance, these are the few stocks that are in fact showing the strength, and we expect stock-specific move to continue. If you see Bank Nifty on the other hand, in last few trading sessions, we have seen some outperformance. Bank Nifty still did not break its January month's low of 47,800. So that itself shows that Bank Nifty is comparatively outperforming, and we may see banks are doing likely to do well. Those counters like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, and also Kotak Mahindra Bank, as I pointed out. So these are the stocks where one should keep an eye on. Purely, one should refrain from creating any sort of aggressive long or short position at current juncture, because we may see a wild move from here. So overall undertone looks weak, but yes, there could be possibility of a pullback.
Okay, and lastly, I want to ask you on the mid and the small cap space also, Nilesh. You know, are you really looking at more pain from even the current levels in these spaces? These have been the worst hit. Both these mid and small caps have entered into a bear market, because when we see from the peak, mid caps are what, down 22%, small caps over 25% lower. So, is there further pain to be seen from here as well on both these mid and small caps?
Absolutely. So, if you see the broader markets where we have seen a major pain compared to the large cap indices. So, in fact, broader markets, specifically mid cap index, it looks like it is heading towards 47,000 or below the same. We might see the levels going forward. So, the pain is not yet over. The index are not out of the woods yet, and we may see further downtick to continue. But we are in the kind of a bear market structure as far as broader markets are concerned, where
Yeah.
the indices are forming a lower top and low bottom. So as of now, the lower bottom has been formed. Lower top could be formed somewhere around 49,000 to 50,000 in the mid cap Nifty mid cap index. So overall, the weakness is likely to remain. The focus should be on the blue chip counters, the large cap stocks, because where there we are getting margin of safety. But broader markets, specifically mid cap and small cap, we expect further downtick to continue. Even if you look at Nifty small cap index, it looks like it is heading towards 14,000 to 13,700 from a shorter point of view. But yes, as mentioned, the markets are oversold. In this kind of oversold market, we tend to see some dead cat bounce. So this dead
Yeah.
cat bounce should use an exit opportunity rather than making any fresh longs.
Okay, fair point, Nilesh. Well, thank you so much for being with us in today's trading session and helping our viewers with all their queries in this weak setup of the market, also helping them with strategies to follow in this continuing falling market, and of course, what is the outlook as well. Appreciate your time with us. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right, viewers, we'll wrap it up at that. The good part is that the Nifty has turned green, although flat with just a positive bias, but 22,125 after that sharp sell-off in the morning. But what still remains to be seen is whether the broader market will also recover in trade. There is still a sharp weakness across mid and small caps at this point in time. The Nifty Bank also is lower by about 0.4%, but we are still about 2.5 hours away from the day's close. Let's see whether the Nifty is able to see some more recovery from where it is right now, and we can see some more pockets also lending a hand there. Stay tuned with us. We'll continue to cover the markets for you throughout the course of the day, and there's a lot of action to be covered.